Typex01 here finally again for it's been a couple of months since I've actually made a proper video, which is kind of planned, kind of not. But today I'm going to be talking mostly about game collecting, in this case the Nintendo 64. Since I've been on Reddit for the past couple of months, I've been sort of attracted more to the game collecting side of it. I mean, I'm always on the subreddit game collecting, and I always see people who have their own stories to tell about how they managed to get into the console, how they managed to get a hold of the consoles that they've got. So I decided to do one for if I grab it, my Nintendo 64. Now this fully works completely. It is a full, it's the smoke color, I believe they call this one. It fully works. I got all the wires, and I don't plug it up to this TV here. I actually plug it up to a smaller TV because I can't get the SCART cable yet, nor do I want to. I don't know why it is, but having it on a small TV like that one there that you see behind me, having it on that one just appears to be, a bit more nostalgic for me, and especially for a console like this. Now, of course, the Nintendo 64 is the third console, I believe that, yeah, hang on, NES, SNES, Nintendo 64, the third console that Nintendo made, and is, of course, cartridge-based, the only one of that generation that was cartridge-based. Now, my story is that my mate, when I went down, his house, about 6 years ago, I would always go on the Nintendo 60. We would always be on the Nintendo 64. We'd always be playing like GoldenEye or F-Zero or something like that. And over the years, he just kind of stopped playing on the Nintendo 64. Don't know why that happened. That might be because of the turn to PC gaming. Because both me and him, I mean, we have our PCs. We always go on the PC. Um, and then one day he asked, well, I volunteered to help clear out his room because he needed a big clear out. And he gave me the Nintendo 64 along with a couple of games for free, which is brilliant, especially to get a very good condition Nintendo 64. I mean, there's a bit of grime and like bits on it, but that's about it. It works perfectly. And I got 3 games from him, including 2 controllers. And I'm gonna go through them now. So the thing that I got is this Nintendo 64 with all the wires. I also managed to get 2 standard grey controllers, fully working once again. One of the thumbsticks on one of them is a little loose, I would say, on one of them. But once again, when it comes to the thumbsticks on the Nintendo 64 controllers, that's to be expected. And I also got 3 games from him. Now these 3 games are pretty much in all condition apart from what I mentioned. First of all, a classic in everyone's book is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. This works absolutely a charm. The only problem with it would be this little, I don't know what this is, just wear and tear on the cartridge. Um, this is, I mean, it's an amazing game. When I heard about it, when I first heard about the hype, when I didn't really know about Zelda, I wasn't exactly sure what they were on about. But as soon as I got to play it, it is an amazing game. For anybody who hasn't played it, you ought to play it. I mean, it's on Virtual Console. If you got a Nintendo Wii, or it's been remade loads of times, you have no excuse. Even if you just get an emulator or something, which is something that I had to do for Majora's Mask. Um, but no, once again, it's a brilliant port. I play it all the time when I can, and once again, amazing. Oh, actually, one thing to mention: the Nintendo 64 I've got only has the jumper pack. It does not have the expansion pack. I am looking out for that, but it's taking a while. Next game on the list, another classic made by Rare, GoldenEye 007. Another classic shooter which pretty much propelled 3D shooters to where they are today. I mean, no other game managed to do it as well as this game. The only game that came out beforehand was Quake, but that was more for the PC, and this came out for the Nintendo 64, and it showed how good games can be on the Nintendo 64 and how good shooters could be done if you did it right. But this was from Rare, a second party developer who actually knew what they were on about when they were making consoles. I mean, back on the Nintendo 64 era, they were golden. I mean, well, no pun intended, of course, but they had loads of games: Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's A Bad Fur Day, Perfect Dark, Diddy Kong Racing, Donkey Kong 64. All of those games were absolutely amazing, and they actually pushed the system to the limit, actually showing what the Nintendo 64 could do, which is something that a lot of developers didn't do back then. I mean, apart from Nintendo and second-party developers that could be trusted, not many people actually realized the full potential. The last game that I got free for the Nintendo 64, along with all of that, this one doesn't work completely. Sometimes I just need to give it a quick blow in the cartridge, and I think that the memory is also corrupted, which is why I have to, unfortunately, when I'm playing with friends or with my family, I have to use the all car cheat. And it is, of course, F-Zero, another brilliant game, and shows exactly what races can be done with it. It's an incredibly hard game. It's the courses, especially on the Joker Cup, for all of you who know, are insane. Especially Big Hand on this one. 30 races, which is more than any other racer handled on in the time, and I'm actually surprised it could be handled on a small cartridge like this, because a lot of the games were cartridge based, and you could only really buy them. I mean, before companies actually made the Nintendo 64 games, they actually had to like predict how many the game would sell. So if you made too many of them and the game didn't sell as well as you wanted it to, it would of course have a load of cartridges just hanging around anywhere. But if the game was in high demand, but you didn't realize, you would have to make more. But F-Zero, I mean, handled it so well with just a small cartridge, and just being able to handle that amount of racing. I mean, it's got brilliant. Even the backgrounds are amazing on this game. So that's basically what I got in the free lot. Basically, I got that all for free. Nintendo 64, the 3 games I mentioned, and the 2 controllers. Now later on, after I had got that, I started mentioning to a couple of friends that I was looking out for some games, and one person that did mention it was a little lot for 10 quid. A little overpriced, but I didn't mind it, seeing as it was 3 quid for 2 games, and I would say 4 quid for one of the controllers. The controller is your standard Nintendo, but blue instead of silver. It's fully working. I mean, once again, the thumbstick is a little bit to be desired, but apart from that, it all works. I believe this goes with the. It's not the official one, but this one was along with his Pikachu Nintendo, Nintendo 64, which I didn't buy because I had already got a Nintendo 64. I'm not a kind of collector who will buy games just for the sake of it. I won't go and buy every single color Nintendo 64. I'm one that's happy with one, and that's it. I found out that another person ended up buying the Nintendo 64 afterwards anyways, but they had to buy another controller because they didn't realize that I would buy this, which is a bit of a pain in the arse for some people. But no, I spent 10 quid on this, and I also bought 2 Pokemon games. I'm not sure. The first one is Pokemon Stadium. Actually, if you're from Japan, it's actually known as Pokemon Stadium 2. For those of you who don't know, I'm just gonna relay facts as soon as I say the games, because that's just what I'm used to. Pokemon Stadium, the first one in Japan, actually only had about 50 of the Pokemon. It was actually used for tournaments, but a lot of fan speculation wanted a full-fledged Pokemon Stadium game, and they ended up making this one. The first one wasn't released outside of Japan, so we just got Pokemon Stadium, which is actually their Pokemon Stadium 2, and our Pokemon Stadium 2, I think, is either called Pokemon Stadium 3 or just called Pokemon Stadium Gold and Silver. I'm not exactly sure. But unfortunately, even though he said he would try and find it, he couldn't find the transfer pack which went with this. And the transfer pack basically was able to transfer your game Pokemon over to Pokemon Stadium, and you could also play Pokemon Stadium, the Pokemon game that you put in onto the Nintendo 64 on a bigger screen. So if you, for instance, decided, oh, I'm tired of playing my Pokemon Red on a small screen, you could indeed put it into the transfer pack and play it on a bigger screen. Now, if I had got Pokemon Red on that big screen there, that would be absolutely amazing. It would be the best thing. I mean, 8-bit graphics on that small screen, incredible. And considering that that's like a 26-inch TV, and this is what, like a 3-inch, I don't know. Pop that back there. And the last game I got was Pokemon Snap. One thing I should mention about the condition of these two, they do work, but only kind of. They're kind of very, it's the whole blowjob thing. All consoles, Nintendo 64, NES, any cartridge-based game console, want it to work? Blowjob first. Which one am I holding? Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Snap is just a photographic game. It's really calm and it's kind of got an arcadey feel to it. It's not a game like Legend of Zelda where you'll play it for like hours on end. It is more of a game which you just sit back, relax. If you don't really want to play a huge game, you just go around the Pokemon Island, just photographing Pokemon. That's the whole point of the game. Um, it's it is a really good game as well. I think I've completed the game, but I haven't got all 150 Pokemon in the game, so I'm still looking out for all of them. And the last little item on my list is just a memory card, which I was able to pick up for £3. It was a little bit more expensive than I was hoping for, but the guy who was selling it didn't exactly want to give it away that simply, so I just offered him £3 and I got it. So that's the entire job lot. Currently, I've spent £13 on my collection, which my collection isn't huge. I mean, it's only 5 games, 3 controllers, a Nintendo 64, and a memory card. But at the same time, I have only really just started getting into the whole thing. I am going down Cardiff this week, day of filming, and I will be hopefully able to pick up another Nintendo 64 game, if not 2. But apparently the place that sells them is actually quite expensive, so I'm gonna keep an eye on that. But thank you very much for watching. I've been Prototype X01. Thanks for watching about my collection, and if you would like more, just favorite, like, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much, guys, and I will see you soon.